Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is Andrew Meadows.
How you doing, man?
Good. I'm feeling pretty good. We're talking about Tomb Raider this week, aren't we?
We are. For the first time in several weeks, I left a theater not utterly disappointed, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty good feeling to go to a movie and enjoy it.
I agree. Yeah, we'd been on a bit of a losing streak there, a couple weeks in a row between a Red Sparrow and A Wrinkle in Time. So I'd say this one definitely kind of broke the trend a bit there. I did want to say before we get really any further that. I guess at the end of our Wrinkle in Time episode, I mentioned that we were going to be doing Jessica Jones Season 2 probably next, and as our listeners can probably figure out, that that has not been the case. So we put out our Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1 bonus episode out as a regular episode, so that is now totally free to listen to, and you may very well have listened to it by this point. It's a long one. We kind of left it pretty much unedited, and it's more or less raw form. And with these bonus episodes, we're kind of just treating them, a little bit differently than we do with our regular episodes that we put a little bit more TLC into before they are released to the public. But along with that, we also have our Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2 episode up as well, which is currently an exclusive for our supporters on Patreon. So patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. You can basically donate to us on a monthly basis, just $2 a month, and you get access to the bonus episode that we just talked about, which we again recorded with our good friend Henry, and you get early access to regular episodes and some cool shit. So I would say get on that. So that's enough housekeeping. We are doing Jessica Jones as our next episode, for the record.
We haven't forgot about it.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it was so bad that we stopped watching halfway through. No, nothing like that. It's just it's long. It's 13 episodes. We wanted to give ourselves a little bit more time to breathe, and Tomb Raider ended up, I think, being probably better than we expected. I'm not going to say that it's amazing or anything like that. Obviously, we'll talk on it more extensively a little bit later in the episode, but I felt there was enough there, enough personal connection to the material as well that, we covered it. We covered it throughout the news too, Right. So there was enough reasons there to kind of give it its own episode. So that's kind of where we're at with everything this week. You got a fun fact lined up?
I do have a fun fact lined up.
Oh, finally.
And it pertains to our topic for tonight. How about that?
Oh, very timely.
Yeah, I got a relative fun fact, so it's cool. So Lara Croft has appeared on more magazine covers than any supermodel. As of June 2016, she had appeared on over 1,100 magazine covers.
1,100?
Which averages out to one magazine cover a month for 20 years. How about that?
How is that even possible? What magazines is she getting? I can get video game magazines, maybe. I guess there's millions of those things, but
I don't know, dude. I don't know. And this is according to Screen Rant.
To be fair, the franchise has been around for
since 96.
Yeah, I was going to say 20 years or so. So
since 96. And another side fun fact, it was created by Core Design, which consisted of only 6 people. It was created in 3 years, from 93 to 96. It was released in 96, and that was the first game, it's pretty cool. Lara Croft has evolved in many ways, which is, I don't know, it's a fascinating franchise. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm a real big Indiana Jones fan, so I think Lara Croft kind of embodies that in a video game medium. And sometimes it comes over on the screen too, So I think, I don't know, it's fun. I like it. It's cool shit.
Such a big fan, you don't even know how to pronounce her name properly. I respect that.
Lara Croft?
No, not Laura.
It's not Laura?
No, there's no U in it.
Lara?
There you go.
I have a fun fact for you. Another fun fact. When they were developing her first name was Laura Cruz. That was the way they and then they just kind of evolved into Lara Croft. But they started.
I wonder where the cruise came from.
Anyways, that was enough fun facts. I think that was 3 fun facts. Anyways.
Well, you were making up for lost time because I've been bailing you out over the past couple weeks with this little fun fact segment that we've had going. So, let's do some news for the week. We're going to start in somewhat the world of DC. I mean, technically it is the world of DC, but it's not the DC Extended Universe we're going to be talking about. It's the DC animated universe coming to the big screen. Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Have you seen a trailer for this?
What? No.
You don't know? Do you know anything about this?
No, I don't know anything about this.
All right. Well, let me get you up to speed about what Teen Titans Go to the Movies is. So it's based on the TV show Teen Titans Go, which is an animated show on Cartoon Network. The movie's plot is existing in the same continuity as their crazy yet still active show. The Teen Titans find out that all the other DC superheroes seem to have films produced, so they seek out the perfect director for their debut on the big screen. But their old enemy, Slade Wilson, has other ideas in mind for them. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man.
Not feeling it? I saw a trailer for this in front of I don't remember what it was. And it looks very goofy, very over the top. I mean, Will Arnett is playing fucking Slade Wilson / Deathstroke, so I feel like
Okay,
that should probably be a somewhat of an indication of the tone that it's going for. Which is he's also Lego Batman. How does that work? But I bring it up now because we got some more casting news. So we know that the Justice League are going to be involved to some extent because some voice talent has been announced for certain members of the Justice League. So to begin with, Superman, Nicolas Cage will be voicing Superman in Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
No. For real? This is real?
This is 100% real. Yes, I'm not lying to you.
All right, I'm all in.
Additionally, singer/songwriter Halsey will be lending her voice to Wonder Woman, and rapper Lil Yachty is going to be playing Green Lantern.
Gee, what is going on? What is this?
I think you should watch the trailer because it's pretty ridiculous, but I feel like it's got a nice tongue-in-cheek kind of tone that this could be fun. I don't have any real exposure to the TV show that's on air, other than just kind of knowing about it and knowing, Teen Titans I'm familiar with, but that particular iteration is kind of just something that I have not dipped my toes into at all. But it's coming out July 27th later this year. But I thought, certainly the Nicolas Cage voice announcement is amazing in its own right, given he almost played Superman back in the day, which would have been something to behold, certainly.
That would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, it would have been. It's probably for the best that it didn't actually come to fruition, but I digress. We're going to move on and talk about a teaser trailer we got for Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
That trailer didn't do a whole lot for me.
I thought it was all right. It's a teaser trailer, to be fair, but I thought that it looks very Harry Potter. Still got Newt Scamander about. My biggest concern, I think, going in with this movie, and we'll see how it obviously translates to the final product, is that the title sucks. It's just a bad title, but I was wondering, okay, I get that you want to keep the brand consistency with Fantastic Beasts, and it's just okay, is it about Fantastic Beasts or is it about the Crimes of Grindelwald? Because the two of those things don't really seem to coalesce, I think, in a way that makes any sort of real sense. But there was a decent amount of Fantastic Beasts in this trailer, at least. It certainly, for something that's called the Crimes of Grindelwald, it didn't seem like there was much of him in this trailer, which is maybe why I didn't mind it so much, because there was 2 or 3 shots of Johnny Depp in there.
Yeah, a little bit, a couple of them.
And it looks like, at least what we did see, I guess he was a little bit more raggedy looking, so I think that looks a little bit better than whatever the fuck they put out at the end of the first Fantastic Beasts movie with the peach fuzz and the hair and the eyebrows. That look was real bad. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know.
We'll see how it is. I
think it looks fine. I think the first one was probably better than I expected to be, while not being anything downright spectacular, I would say. But no, I wouldn't say that this trailer got me hyped, but it didn't make me groan. or anything like that.
I didn't groan
like,
either.
This looks totally fine.
This looks like a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. Something that might also be a movie is Nightwatch over at Sony. So this is based off of a comic book that has its origins rooted in the Spider-Man franchise. So that is why Sony has the rights to this. And director Spike Lee is apparently circling it. He's in the early stages to be involved with this movie. I don't know if you're familiar with Nightwatch. I know I myself am not really, but I can fill you in.
I can identify him, but I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a Spawn-looking costume, doesn't he?
He does.
So just what I'm seeing here. So Nightwatch was first introduced as 1993 as the alter ego of African-American scientist Dr. Kevin Trench, who witnessed a costumed man die battling terrorists while armed with invisibility-generating cloaking devices. Trench then learned that the corpse was an older version of himself.
Fuck.
He went on to steal the futuristic suit of armor to discover the origins of his alternate self.
Fuck.
And so, I mean, that sounds kind of interesting, I would say. This to me, I think kind of using maybe some lesser known, some B-list kind of heroes, I feel like that's a decent idea because I don't really think there's a situation where even if Marvel Studios had the rights to this,
would they use it?
Yeah, they wouldn't make a Nightwatch movie. I wouldn't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, this to me, this strikes me as something like, okay, I'll give this a whirl. I mean, certainly, I'd imagine most of it is Sony looking at the box office receipts for Black Panther and thinking, okay, black superhero, we can do that too. So I'd imagine that's probably the biggest source of inspiration here. But that said, I mean, Spike Lee, obviously a talented director, and certainly I think someone well equipped to handle something like this. So I'm a little bit softer on something like this than I am on their Venoms, their Silver and Blacks, and stupid shit like that. Where it's just like, all right, come on, guys, maybe pump the brakes on some of that. But apparently, the script for this is written by Cheo Hodari Coker, who is the showrunner on Luke Cage, both seasons 1 and season 2. So yeah, I mean.
Okay, sure.
I was ready to hate on this. I was ready to hate on this when I kind of first saw the headline. I'm like, oh, gee, what's Sony up to these days? And I was just like, okay, all right. Well, so I don't know. I mean, do you agree?
All right. Sure, whatever, man. Just go ahead and try to pump it out, and we'll see if it works. And if it doesn't, well, I'm not surprised. So.
Well, I'd say for me, it's one of those things where if it doesn't work, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, it's not a character you're involved with.
When they put out a Venom movie that's probably going to suck,
it upsets you a little bit, right?
Yeah, Marvel's like, well, why, we're not going to do Venom now. You guys have fucked it up 2 times already. Like,
it's just like if you were Sony. I mean, it feels like you would want to. Hey guys, you guys want to make us some money on this? What about this? We have the rights to this. You want to put out a movie for us? Maybe make us some money. I just don't understand. Why wouldn't you want to ride off those coattails? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a frustrating thing. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because, outside of the specifically Sony-produced movies, they're not making money, Spider-Man appearing in Captain America Civil War and the upcoming Avengers Infinity War. I mean, they don't make money from that. So I kind of get the standpoint of, well, we should make our own content using these rights because we're going to specifically profit from that. But it does run the risk of, well, if you earn enough, ill will towards it, then you're just going to be losing money on making those movies in the first place. But
you don't think? Wait, they didn't make any money off of Homecoming? Surely they did.
No, they made money off of Homecoming because that's the only one they made. But they don't make money from Civil War. They don't make money from Avengers because those are all Marvel produced.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So you're at the point where, okay, you'll probably get a Spider-Man movie every 3 years. Is that enough justification to not make other movies? I mean, that's why they're making these other movies, is because
Spider-Man was successful, right?
Let's leech off of the success from that and make something that we can control ourselves, that we can completely exclusively profit from, and it'll fill the years in between these Spider-Man movies, which, again, from a business model, it makes perfect sense, but the creatives behind it you've got to look at their track record and think, no, please, please don't. Please don't do that. Anyway, moving on to something else that I am a little bit questionable about. Hot off the heels of directing A Wrinkle in Time, Ava DuVernay is going to be directing a movie for Warner Brothers and DC called The New Gods, based on the comic book written by the great Jack Kirby.
So that you're telling me that the boys at Warner Brother and DC said, Ava, you did such an awesome job on Wrinkle of Time. We want to get you in on our DC shit.
You know, I respect that they're confident in her abilities even after A Wrinkle in Time. But then again, maybe that's not even the case. It very well just could be the case of, oh, she just made a massive train wreck for a lot of money. We've been doing that for like a decade. Fuck yeah, bring her on board.
That's it. She's a perfect fit for it. That's a perfect resume.
Oh my god. I mean, I'm really of two minds about this, because I'm like, fuck yeah, New Gods, like that could be badass. But it is one of those things where I'm like, oh no, I just watched A Wrinkle in Time. I don't think I want to see anything. I don't want to see anything that anyone was attached to that do for at least like 2 or 3 years. Like I need some time to cool down. Maybe I just need to rewatch Selma and remind myself, oh no, she I think she's talented. I know she's made a movie that is really good. And so we hope that A Wrinkle in Time is the aberration, and maybe DC is hoping that as well. I don't know, but
hot off the heels.
to me, yeah, like immediately after you pull off this massive train wreck, giving her the keys to the kingdom for something that's going to be big budget and everything, like, to me, this just seems like the timing of this is suspect as all hell to me. I'm just like, if you had told me about this 2 weeks before A Wrinkle in Time came out, I would have been fucking awesome with it. Now I'm just like, oh no.
I read this news. I laughed my ass off in the middle of work. I had the car lot full of customers. I'm scrolling through the Facebook. I just started out laughing because, just, what are you thinking? Those poor people. I don't know who the fuck's running Warner Brothers. I'm sure I could look it up, or DC, or whoever the fuck's picking these people and when they pick them. But I don't know what they're thinking, man. I just don't know. It's a confusing thing, but. Needless to say, I'm not very excited about DC's New Gods, whatever it is. I'm not very excited.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the concept of this is awesome, but I don't trust DC to make good things right now. And, like I said, especially given the added context of her most recent failure, it's just like, please, no, again, please don't do this. There's a time and a place to do a New Gods movie. I don't think it's the time for that. I think until DC can prove to me that on a consistent basis they can make quality products, I don't want them to handle shit that they're going to forever taint. Because it's one of those things where you've got one chance at this, and if you just don't handle it properly, then you're screwing it for all of time, basically. I mean, you can do a million different Batman movies because Batman will always sell. People will always like Batman. But New Gods is so niche that, like, you don't have that luxury with it. So I don't know. I will just say that we'll wait and see on this, and I hope to be proved wrong.
Fuck. DC.
Yeah. So moving into basically like 5 straight news related to Marvel and Disney and all that comes with that territory. Quick box office note, Black Panther has notched its 5th straight weekend at number 1, beating out the likes of Tomb Raider by a pretty slim margin. I think it only beat it by $3-4 million, which, it's still more impressive for Black Panther than it is for anything else. But it is the first movie to do that. To notch 5 straight weekends at number 1 since Avatar. Even Star Wars The Force Awakens couldn't pull that off. So, Star Wars The Force Awakens will still outgross it domestically by a good $200 to $300 million when all is said and done. But at the same time, it's pretty impressive. So good on you, Black Panther, and good on you, America, for getting shit right for once, anyway. Now, so moving on to some more big Marvel news, we got our second trailer for Avengers: Infinity War. So this new trailer, what'd you think?
Dude, we just got done talking about Griswold, or Grindelwald, or whatever the fuck his name is, and that's a movie. I got pumped. I'm real excited. It looks like it's gonna be ridiculous, and I'm very excited about it. Thanos looks like a boss. He's punching Captain America, who has a beard, and it's just he's putting gems in his gauntlet, and it just, I don't know. There's a lot going on. You get the first interaction between the Guardians of the Galaxy and Iron Man, and you got what looks like to be a Hulkbuster in there. There's just so much shit going on. So yeah, I'm real excited about it.
Yeah, I agree. This is a trailer for me that obviously it's hitting on our sweet spot of shit that we're really interested in anyway. But yeah, I mean, this trailer did a great job of, I feel like, not kind of telling us the whole story like some trailers do, but still giving us plenty of new footage that definitely just makes you you're fucking, you get goosebumps watching shit like this, man. Like I cannot wait to see. I hope to see this trailer on the big screen at some point, but if not, I mean, it's only a month plus away to actually see the movie properly in IMAX. So yeah, I mean, there's just tons of little things in this trailer that for me, I'm like, oh fuck, oh yeah, like just throughout the entire trailer, there's just little things. I mean, Gamora just referencing the snap. I'm like, oh, are they gonna do it? Are they gonna do it? Seeing the fucking Black Order, like seeing an actual proper visualization of the Black Order. Thanos is torturing. You got them torturing Doctor Strange. Yeah, man. Yeah, got that close up of Ebony Maw shushing, at least the way it's edited, shushing Doctor Strange, and he's got the fucking thing sticking into his face. I don't know what the hell is going on there, but it looks fucked, and I enjoy that. I'm like, these everyone's gonna get fucked here. The only person that we don't see actively getting fucked is Captain America standing up to Thanos, catching the gauntlet, which is fucking so cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of cool stuff, man. Yeah. There's just so much to unpack. I feel like the first time I watch this movie, I'm going to have no capability of processing it whatsoever. Like it's just gonna be like in one ear out the other. Like I'm just gonna be like, what? Every 5 seconds. Just the first time I watched Civil War, it was exactly that. Like in Civil War, I saw like 3 weeks in advance, so I had to wait almost a month to see it again. So it was kind of like, oh my God, was that a dream? It felt like a dream. And I get the impression this one's going to kind of hit the mark for me. And I guess uncoincidentally, it's the Russo brothers doing this one as well. So yeah, this is what I needed in my life, this trailer here. We did get a poster for it as well. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Yeah, pretty busy. I mean, when you got 2 fucking lines of just the cast names on the top, and that doesn't even cover everyone in the movie, it's pretty telling of what's going on. I mean, I don't even want to know how much they paid their cast for this movie. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is probably getting half of the total cost of the movie anyway, but still, pretty crazy. Yeah, I guess we can leave it at that for the trailer, because I mean, honestly, it's something that I would say we could probably spend a whole episode just breaking down that trailer, and we wouldn't be the first ones to do it. I mean, you could probably search on YouTube for Infinity War trailer breakdown and have like a million links and stuff.
Everybody
like that.
does it, absolutely.
Lots of red arrows pointing at things. Yeah, so like I said, we'll leave it at that. Moving into TV news, but also sticking with the whole Marvel thing we've got going here. We have official confirmation that Avengers: Infinity War will not connect to the Marvel Netflix universe.
That's kind of lame.
I mean, for both of us, we've watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for 5 seasons now. This was never going to happen. There's clearly just way too much division between Marvel TV and Marvel Studios that it was always a pipe dream, and everything's very one-sided. I mean, even the Netflix universe doesn't really seem that concerned with connecting that much to the greater universe outside of a couple, cheeky references here and there. So it's a little disappointing in the sense that I do think it would be the perfect opportunity where, you've got Thanos's presumable invasion or whatever of Earth or something. If some shit's popping off in New York, it'd be kind of nice to see, the Defenders teaming up, and just, even if it was like literally a 5-second cutaway to just some costumed heroes beating the shit out of some aliens or whatever the fuck the case may be. Like, I feel like that to me would be a great way of acknowledging things while also not having to, spend, a lot of time kind of trying to tie them into the greater universe. But it's more of a logistical thing, I think, more than anything else. And I get it from that standpoint. It does suck, but I think this has been pretty much the case since the beginning.
I mean, but they referenced it in some points in the Netflix shit. They reference the events of the first Avengers, right?
Yeah, but how many times have the movies ever referenced anything that's happened in the TV universe ever? Yeah,
but see, I don't... The scale in which the movies are happening, I don't think that... I just kind of feel like the Netflix heroes aren't and I'm not saying they couldn't be, but they're the way they're presented, they're not operating on that sort of scale.
Well, there's a reason that they have TV shows, and they did, Marvel Studios didn't opt to keep them on board to make a movie out of them.
Right. So
I mean, they are, there's world and cosmic level heroes, and then you've got your street level heroes and the Defenders, which I think that's totally fine.
That
Punisher
is fine.
As well.
And I think it's fine that there's a one-way street for reference. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, Captain America, who's fighting fucking Red Skull and Nazis and, like, global, shield shit and blah, 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 and catching Thanos' gloves, he doesn't give two shits about fucking Jessica Jones or the blind lawyer dude in Hell's Kitchen. He don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? He's got bigger fish to fry, I don't know. I think it's plausible that they could exist in the same universe and not be referenced in the films, but be referenced in the TV shows or in the TV shows. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean that is the case. That's 100% the case. So I think it's...
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it as well. I mean, it's not like I'm sure that, assuming that they make these Netflix shows after Avengers releases, assuming the timeline kind of adds up, I'm sure we'll get another newspaper article about big old purple raisin man, comes to Earth and, fucks with Captain America. We might get something like that. So, it's just confirmation that it's not going to be anything more than just the surface level. This is the same universe, but I mean, we're missing out because, this is robbing us of the opportunity to see Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun, sworn enemy of the Hand, fight alongside Iron Man, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I know you want that.
It would be great as if Danny Rand pops up to fight Thanos and he snaps him out of existence. Floop, gone.
That's mean. You can't say that about Danny Rand.
Anyways,
yeah. So it's kind of a non-news article, other than to say, hey, don't expect that to happen in the movies, which I think most people have kind of anyone that's really invested, I think, into the Marvel TV infrastructure at this point fully understands that that's just how shit works. Is that they respect what happens in the big universe, in the movies and stuff like that, but they're content doing their own thing, which I agree is fine. I mean, I think it would have been a nice way to kind of throw the fans a bone by having just, like I said, that brief 5-second cutaway. But I completely understand why that's not the case, even if it is something that, as a fanboy, I would like to see something like that happen. I mean, I'm not expecting Daredevil to get his own movie. I'm not expecting anyone to have any sort of major parts, but even just a little breadcrumb, I think would be acceptable. But given how these movies are made, given how they operate, I mean,
it's just not feasible.
It was never going to happen. So no, but within the world of Marvel Netflix, The Punisher Season 2 has begun filming.
Okay.
We got some casting announcements a little while back, so makes sense that this is already filming, getting ready to go. I expect we won't have a release for this until probably 2019 sometime. Probably later in the year if I had to guess, but we shall see. Apparently, this is going to be, I guess, just based on the 2005 story arc, The Slavers, which is part of the Garth Ennis run and the Punisher Max series, in which Frank Castle, the Punisher himself, took on a slavery ring in his unending war on crime. So
that sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it seems more in line with the Punisher, I think, that we kind of expected to see in season 1. Certainly season 1 was more focused on, the personal storyline, I think, for Frank, and, resolving his past and kind of tying that with Micro's past as well. But I would like to see some more, just straight up punishing in season 2. I think that's a good way to take it for certainly a second season. So Luke Cage season 2 also has some news. They've added a villain that has ties to the Punisher comics. The actress that is joining the show is Annabella Sciorra, and she is going to be playing Rosalie Carboni, who in the comics, like I said, she originated in the Punisher comics themselves. She had a brief fling with Mr. Castle himself. So I don't know that this necessarily implies any overt connections to the Punisher series, but it certainly would be nice to see more crossover, like inter series crossover between the shows. I think that would be pretty cool way to kind of spend these things. And if they're not going to connect to the movies, then fuck it. I mean, connect to each show. Obviously we've gotten with the the Defenders team up. We know that Danny Rand's popping up in Luke Cage season 2 as well. But yeah, I think that's the way to do it going forward. Is Maybe more than your Claire Temples, have some other characters kind of pop up. Have some more Turk Barretts, ready to go. So, like I said, I don't know if this will be connected at all, but I don't know. It seems cool. She's going to be a mobster in this upcoming season of Luke Cage. So,
all right.
Yeah. She's okay. Here we go. Here's the actual description. I was like, that's not very helpful. I'm sorry. She's described by Netflix as a dangerous downtown criminal underworld power player with an eye and an agenda toward Harlem. All
right. Well, there it is. You heard it here first. Probably not first.
Probably didn't hear it here first, but you heard it here regardless. Last bit of news for the week. Alex Garland, our boy Alex Garland, has created a TV show that has received a pilot pickup over at FX. So the TV show is called Devs, and it is about a young computer engineer named Lily who investigates the secretive development division of her employer, a cutting-edge technology company based in San Francisco, which she believes is behind the disappearance of her boyfriend. So Mr. Garland will be writing and directing the pilot of this, and I guess we'll see, obviously, if it gets a series pickup at that point. But based on that description, based on the talent involved, what do you think about that?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll give it a shot. That's cool. See where it goes, see what happens.
Yeah.
Written and directed by, right?
Yeah, for the pilot. Yeah, I mean,
the pilot. Okay, not necessarily the whole show. I really want to see more shows that are written and directed by a consecutive person. That which I don't think you see that very often. Was the only one True Detective?
I think Sam Esmail wrote and directed all of Mr. Robot season 2 as well.
Okay.
I don't know if he did it again for season 3, which I still haven't watched. So those are the two examples that I can think of, and then obviously Taylor Sheridan is doing the upcoming Yellowstone, so
which looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, that will be another one certainly that kind of fits that mold. So I mean, it's a hell of an endeavor. I mean, certainly depending on the length of the show, if you're doing even 8 episodes, I mean, that's 8 hours of content. It's kind of like 4 movies in some ways. I mean, it's not a 1-to-1 comparison certainly, but it's still, that's a lot of content for one man to not only write and direct as well. So I don't know. I mean, I agree with you in the sense that it is like getting an 8-hour movie or longer, depending on the episode.
And a lot of times they're the quality of the content, because if for somebody to put forth that amount of work into one project, they have something to say. You know what I mean? And they have a very specific way they want it done. And, that definitely transcends to the screen in a big way. Like I said, Mr. Robot was incredible. True Detective was awesome. Probably the best TV show I think I've ever watched. And then this Yellowstone one looks fucking great too, man. So I don't know. I'm real excited about all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that this will get a full series pickup, and we'll kind of have to wait and see how much more involved he is with maybe further episodes of this. But yeah, if he's definitely handling all creative aspects of it, writing and directing of it, then fuck yeah.
It'll hype you up even more, right?
Yeah. What else is there to say at that point? So. That will conclude our news cycle of this week. Let's talk about some Tomb Raider.
Let's do it.
So I will begin by saying that Tomb Raider, this 2018 adaptation of Tomb Raider, is directed by Roar Uthaug, Norwegian director. I think this is his first full English language film. It's based on the 2013 video game, appropriately titled Tomb Raider, and it is also inspired by the sequel to that video game, Rise of the Tomb Raider, both of which were developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix. It stars Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft, and additionally it stars Dominic West, Walton Goggins, and Daniel Wu. And it tells the story of Lara Croft, the fiercely independent daughter of a missing adventurer who must push herself beyond her limits when she finds herself on the island where her father disappeared.
Ooh.
So we talked about it very briefly at the top of the episode. I think both of us enjoyed this movie. But if you had to expand on that, I mean, what would you say about Tomb Raider?
I would say that it is a national treasure without Nick Cage. I think it's a fun adventure movie with some cool action, with a compelling character. I think it's, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. I can say that the theater I went into had some little shits that ran in like 15 minutes late, and they thought it would be funny to cough very loudly. A group of like 5 of them. They kept coughing and coughing and coughing. And some dude left, and then faculty came up in the middle of the movie, and it was little shits being little shits. But aside from that, it's an okay movie. It's definitely not the best thing I've ever seen, but I found myself sitting there and enjoying watching a movie, which, like I said, felt very strange because I haven't been able to do that in the past month. So I was, I don't know, I walked away pretty happy from it. What'd you think about it?
Oh, I agree with that. I think that, especially for a video game movie, let's be clear, this is a video game movie. The track record for video game movies, I don't even want to say it's spotty because that would be way generous. It's downright dismal. I think probably the best video game movie prior to this, if I had to pick one, it's probably the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Whoa, holy shit. There's got to be one better than that.
Is there,
no
though?
way.
Think about it. Is there? Warcraft? No. Assassin's Creed? No. What the fuck else has the brand? I mean, I guess there's been 2 Tomb Raider movies. I haven't seen those in probably over a decade, so I can't say if they're... if I had to go out on a limb, I'd say that they probably don't hold up. And I know they were pretty poorly reviewed back in the day. But I mean, outside of that, Super Mario Brothers.
There was fucking original Resident Evil. Was that bad?
Yes, it's very bad, and all the sequels really are worse. Yes, yeah. Resident Evil is shit. That is a garbage movie, and the sequels are worse than that garbage. To be fair,
you had Max Payne,
complete trash.
Oh, the fucking Silent Hill movie.
Okay, yeah, no, you might have a point. Their first Silent Hill movie might actually, yeah, I would put that over Mortal Kombat. I think that's fair. I think the first Silent Hill movie is actually solid. The second one is garbage, though. Silent Hill Revelation is definitely trash. But I mean, maybe Rampage will.
No, I don't think that's going to redeem anything.
Okay, all right. Well, either way, my point. I think my point stands that the adaptations from video games to movies, they traditionally have not been very successful. Even though the famed director Uwe Boll has tried it like 17 times so far and failed every single time he's done it. This one for me felt like a movie that did a good job of totally feeling like a video game movie, but also kind of being somewhat enjoyable in its own right. Because a lot of the action is literally kind of just pulled straight from. Well, I played the Tomb Raider reboot game, the 2013 video game that I mentioned. I played that for a few hours. I didn't beat it. I think you did, if I'm not mistaken.
I beat it. Yeah, I thought it was great.
But my frame of reference more for video games of this nature for the Indiana Jones-esque type adventures is Uncharted, the Uncharted series.
Sure.
And the Tomb Raider series, the reboot series, was pretty obviously heavily inspired by the gameplay aspects of Uncharted. Obviously, it did its own thing here and there. I know it has a lot more survival aspects that kind of went into it, but purely in terms of kind of the traversal of it, it's very Uncharted feeling. And when I watched this movie, and I'm like, this feels straight up Uncharted to me. In terms of a lot of the action sequences, in terms of kind of Lara navigating and moving around, raiding tombs, and all that good stuff. Like, it felt very video gamey in terms of how it handled a lot of that, but it didn't feel like, it didn't feel like, oh, here's another one, Doom. Remember the fucking Doom movie?
Yeah, the first-person game.
Where they have a 10-minute first-person shooter a literal first-person shooter segment. That to me felt like, oh my god, what is going on here? Didn't that have The Rock in it too?
Yeah, dude.
Good God. That man gets work. But that to me felt like, oh no, this is taking all the wrong lessons from like trying to make this like, look guys, it's based on a video game. Get it? Like that to me felt very in your face and showy. This to me felt like, oh no, this just feels like a fairly natural transition from this type of gameplay and framing it within these action sequences in this movie. And I thought that it did a pretty good job of kind of capturing the spirit of that. I will say, I think the biggest thing that works for me in this movie is Lara Croft herself. I think Alicia Vikander is amazing in this role.
Yeah, she's pretty cool, man. She's really
I think
cool.
she is very cool. She's definitely a very cool woman. But I think that her performance here is way, way better than what the material was asking of her. And I think that she 100% elevates every scene that she's in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And she's great anyway. So, it's not necessarily surprising, but I do think that certainly, when you look at kind of the schlocky nature of a lot of these video game movies, it's hard to expect certainly any sort of world-class performance, and she's not going to get Oscar recognition for a movie like this or anything like that, but she is. Nor
does she deserve it by any means.
No, and I wouldn't say that, but I think that, again, given what she had to work with, given the rest of this movie kind of around her
and the depth of the character, right?
Yeah, I think that she gave it her all. I mean, I know physicality wise, she put on tons of muscle for this movie. I mean, she's obviously still petite, but she sold the physicality of this movie, and she sold the emotionality of the character. And I know a lot of that comes from the source material. The reboot game, I know, kind of really sought to establish why Lara is the Tomb Raider that we kind of saw, and building her up to that character. And I thought that they did a really good job of kind of giving her some material to work with in terms of kind of giving her a reference point for her character. But I think that she took what she was given and just totally ran with it. I mean, she's great in this role. I mean, she makes up, I think, for a lot of the low points in this movie because she's that good.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I wish I could say the same thing about the rest of the cast, though. Because you have a talented cast. You really do, but I just felt like
they showed up for a paycheck.
Maybe some of that, and I just don't think there was just a lot to work with. So, I mean, we get Walton Goggins as the villain of this movie, and Walton Goggins is amazing. Justified, him in Justified, he's fucking outstanding as Boyd Crowder in Justified. And, when you let Walt Goggins, turn it up to 11, let him just absolutely go nuts. Vice Principals is another good example of Walt Goggins just, showing off his talents. Like, this movie just feels way too restrained with kind of what they let the man do.
There's just not a lot of depth to the characters.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is there's, you could have had, story-wise, there was more than enough reason to let him be a hammy character, an over-the-top character, and I think that it would have worked. I think it would have worked fine. I think that it would have been, he could have played a more crazed villain. I think that would have worked better, performance-wise and story-wise, which maybe we can talk about later. I don't know. But I just felt like he was wasted. I felt like Daniel Wu, he plays Lu Ren. I felt like what brief moments we got with him, he had a very natural, strong presence, and then his character just kind of disappears. And it's just kind of like, okay, and then we'll talk about maybe some more in spoilers, kind of performance wise, where things kind of didn't really work as well for me. But I just felt like the supporting cast in general, past Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft, I felt like everything kind of just like, this just didn't work as well as everything else did. But I mean, that's kind of where I stood on it. I thought story-wise, National Treasure, Indiana Jones, a lot. It's very Last Crusade. We'll definitely put it that way. But I thought that it was intriguing enough to kind of keep me compelled to kind of like, okay, what's going on here? Where are they going to go with this? But it wasn't. It was silly at times. It was certainly, I'd say by the end of it was kind of just like, all right, okay, all right. It was like, they had to make sure we knew that there was a video game movie. I felt that it kind of lost a bit of steam as it went on. But I did enjoy it on the whole. I think for something that could have been a complete disaster, I think that, it certainly could have been another video game movie adaptation that just spectacularly failed. But I thought that it did a pretty good job of being enjoyable in its own right, not amazing by any stretch of the imagination, but something that still, hews close enough to the source material that it doesn't feel completely alienated from it, and it's still enjoyable for maybe fans of the franchise or for
inspired me to download the second video game. So
okay,
I'm gonna start playing that. So
there you go. So that's kind of where I'm on it. So. Do you have anything you'd like to tack on to that?
Yeah, movie's just okay. It was okay. It's pretty good.
All right, so recommendation wise, where would you land on this one, Tomb Raider?
I would say if you can, I would say that if you have a movie pass, use it. Go watch it. You're not going to be utterly disappointed. I would say that if you don't have a movie pass, I would say I don't necessarily think it might not be worth. I don't think. Maybe I'd buy this movie. I suppose I would. Maybe
I'd buy it on sale.
Yeah, I'd buy it on sale. Yeah, catch it in like the $5 box in Best Buy. I'd do that.
Yeah, I would not be embarrassed to own this movie.
No, definitely not. I wouldn't go out and spend $25 on this movie when it first comes out. Wouldn't do that. But I wouldn't be embarrassed to own it. So I would say either catch it for free on the not for free on the Movie Pass, but with the Movie Pass, or wait to stream it, or buy it on sale. I don't know. I think I kind of hit 3 fucking ranking systems. I don't know if that's appropriate or not. But
I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with you. Where, to me, this is the perfect kind of movie that Movie Pass is made for, where ordinarily you're like, oh, do I want to spend $10 on a ticket for this? Well, I don't know that you necessarily need to spend $10 on a ticket for it, but if you have that, absolutely use it. Take advantage, because it's enjoyable. It's a good 2-hour diversion from your life. It's not going to stick with you, certainly past a day or anything like that. But I saw this in IMAX. I paid $7 for my IMAX ticket because I have a pass to the local IMAX here, and I don't regret spending $7 on this movie. I thought it was enjoyable. It didn't take advantage of the IMAX format in any way whatsoever. So I wouldn't recommend it from that standpoint, but purely in terms of value proposition, I thought that it was totally fine for what I spent on it. And I will also admit that I mostly made the IMAX trip so I could get my ticket for Avengers Infinity War locked up, because those tickets sold like crazy super fast. So my goal was twofold in watching this movie, but hey, I didn't mind taking a little bit of a drive down to see it in the IMAX. It was nice to just kind of cruise for a little bit. I was feeling a little cooped up in my home at the time that I saw it, so I thought it was good. If you don't have a movie pass, if you're a fan of the franchise, I would certainly say it's worth
sure,
buying a movie ticket. Or if you're feeling maybe a little bit spurned by some shitty movies that you've seen in the past couple of weeks like us, then it's definitely a bit of a return to form. Or you could just see Black Panther again. Also a good choice. But, if you're looking for something new, I think that, if you can catch this, I'm not going to recommend that you go out in theaters and see it. I don't think it's that good. I think it's fine. But it's certainly worth catching at some point in your life. So if you just don't give a shit, maybe just waiting for Netflix is totally fine. Or if you can catch it in your bargain bin, I think it's also certainly worthy of, plopping $10 down on it, $5-10 down on it on Blu-ray, getting it in nice quality. But, so I'll do what you did and just say that, see it whenever you get a chance. It's worth watching. It's just you don't need to bust down the doors and see it tomorrow. You can see it in a year's time, and I think you'd probably get just as much enjoyment out of it. You could probably wait till it's on TV and still enjoy it. But yeah, I think it's still better than that. But that's kind of where I'd land on it. So yeah, we've totally cheated our own system, but fuck it. You want to do some brief spoilers for this then?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right, full spoilers for Tomb Raider. We just want to go chronologically with this.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's fine. Just run through it really quickly. I liked the first 30 minutes of this a lot. I thought it was pretty fun. We see her in the boxing ring, so you're doing a little cycling game. I kind of liked that. I thought it was a fun feel to it.
The cycling thing looked like I wish somebody would do that in Zephyr Hills. I might join that club. Catch the fox. Yeah.
Down for that?
Yeah, that looks awesome.
All right. Yeah, no, I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good way of kind of establishing her character. The only thing that I didn't love is that, this might be true of the game as well, but kind of from what I've read online, I don't think that's entirely the case. It kind of felt like she didn't really have any real interest in tomb raiding prior to her. She goes to the island, obviously, to kind of find what happened to her father, but I think it would have been nice if there was some sort of element to her character where she was just like, oh no, I'm interested in archaeology and all that shit, and so yeah, I'm gonna go find my father, but also I'm just interested in this shit anyway. I kind of felt like that was a little bit lacking. For a movie called Tomb Raider, it's not really a whole lot about her being a tomb raider. It's more accurately be called tomb raiding because it does happen, by the end of the movie. But I kind of feel like that would be a nice aspect of her character, especially, this is jumping ahead a bit, but when we get to the end, I kind of felt like, well, I don't really think that's entirely earned because I don't know.
She grew up in a very rich, educated household to where she knows what the thing, and she was, her father was her only parent, I guess, growing up is what it I think it portrayed.
Yeah, I think her mom died at some point. I think, wasn't that the implication?
Yeah, right. So and her dad, she looked up to her dad a whole lot. So I think they shared a lot of interests. But then her dad spent so much time away that maybe she resented those things, even though she kind of she enjoyed them and doing them with her dad, or looking up to her dad. She may have shared similar interests, but then as she grew older, she kind of turned that into resentment a little bit. When she's shooting the apple and whatnot, and he goes to leave, and she's kind of like, fuck you, dad, take care of myself, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I think that it was there because she obviously knew the puzzles and stuff, and she knew how to...
Right, yeah, she definitely shared that affinity. It just kind of felt like, her dad was like, I'm going to do all this shit secretively, so I don't know how much he actually knew about really what he was doing. It may be one thing if, his literal job was, I have to go to these, archaeological sites and investigate them, and so that's why I'm going away, instead of, I secretly own, or I own this business, but secretly I tomb raid on the side. And I don't know how much she really knew about that. Obviously, like I said, she obviously knew how to solve puzzles, color puzzles. But
it's a color puzzle.
Yeah, that was very video gamey, wasn't it? I was like, oh, okay, yep, this is a video game movie. But no, I see what you're saying, but I don't know exactly how I mean, I feel like if they leaned into that actually on a little bit more, I think it would have made more sense for her character. Where,
right.
If because she was a kid, she couldn't accompany him on all those missions. Like I could see how she would be like, "Fuck you, Dad. Fuck the family fortune. You went and died. Presumably, doing this whole thing, and now I've been kind of doing my own thing in your absence." So I feel like that could have worked, but it didn't seem like they totally went that direction fully. But I thought that the moment where she kills the guy for the first time, I thought that Vikander sold the shit out of that moment. Yeah. Which I think that's pretty much lifted straight from the game. I think I got to that point, if I'm not mistaken. But then Lara's basically a mass murderer for the rest of the game, so it's a little bit uneven in the sense that, when she takes the life, she's like, oh, maybe I like this, and so she's just mowing fuckers down for the rest of the game, which is kind of it's the same thing with Uncharted, where Nathan Drake is definitely a mass murderer. Like, he's killed probably thousands of people, by the end of Uncharted 4. But I thought that within the context of the movie, they handled that really well, where she obviously felt a lot of shame and kind of guilt in that moment, but, she was kind of pushed into a corner, and she definitely just sold the raw emotion of that entire experience. And, even throughout the rest of the movie, she uses the bow and arrow, I guess, to kind of kill a few people here and there, but it doesn't. I guess she does technically kind of murder the shit out of Matthias, but it didn't feel like she only killed like 6 or 7 people throughout the movie, and so once she kind of got her past her first one, it was really survival instincts initiate. So I kind of felt like it was earned. Like I felt like that moment felt properly established and properly earned, and even beyond that, it didn't feel like they. I still feel like it kind of weighed on her a bit more, but once she kind of turned the corner, she pretty much knew it's me or the other guy. So I thought that was good.
You see, if we're talking about like video game correlations, I thought there was a lot of cinematic things that happened in the first video game that could have translated well to a movie, and they just weren't present. Which is I don't hold any grudges. I was fine with what came out, but I haven't played the second one, and you say that this kind of it's not a direct translation from the first game and then the second game or anything like that. It's kind of like a hybrid of the two.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of shit that happened in that first game that I thought would have been really dope to have in a movie, but it wasn't there, and that's okay.
Anything specific that jumps out?
Well, there's a lot of there's one thing where she's like wading through water. And like the lighting and there's a lot of what's the best way to put it? There's a lot of psychological thrilling parts in the video game that I think were interesting, that weren't there. It's very straightforward in the movie, which is like I said, which is fine, but there's one part in particular where she's wading through some water and then putting herself through like a deep crevice, a really tight crevice in between these things, and there's like bones and shit in this like area that she's at, and it was really fucking creepy and shit. I don't know. It's been a little while since I played that game, but I remember being sucked wholeheartedly into it. I thought it was awesome. That's why I was pretty excited to watch the movie. So, I don't know. Nothing in particular. I just think there's a lot of cinematic qualities to almost like your Uncharted games. There's a lot of cinematic qualities to those video games that could translate well to a movie, if you execute them properly. It's just a lot of those things weren't given a chance in this movie, which, like I said, which is fine. They did their own thing, but I don't know. Like I said, I just think it would have been cool if they did some of the stuff that they did in the video game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've heard similar thoughts online, and again, as someone that really only played the 2013 game pretty sparingly, I don't have a lot of those reference points to kind of beat on as far as I kind of wish they did this instead of that, or kind of whatever the case may be. So, I don't know. But I guess just kind of moving a little bit forward into the movie, I kind of felt like it. I think I talked about how it lost a little bit steam as it went on. I thought that when Papa Croft came back into the picture, I was just kind of like, all right, okay, you know.
Papa Croft.
Papa Croft. I don't remember what his name is. Richard, maybe? Who knows? Dick Croft. I kind of felt like, it's starting to get a little contrived here. Glad he managed to keep his glasses intact for all 8 years that he was fucking stuck on an island pretending to be dead.
And see, that's the thing with all the main characters that were on the island. Like you're talking about Homeboy, your boy from
Walt Goggins.
Yeah, Goggins. Like you have Papa Croft, who says, oh, I hallucinate about you, and then you disappear. I've got this big beard. I'm living in isolation. I'm living on the side of a fucking airplane. I've lost my shit for 7 years on this island. But Goggins, where he just, pulls out a gun and shoots people. He doesn't give a shit about anything. But
he's still pretty relatively level-headed, isn't he?
Right. You think that dude would lose his shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you should cast Walt Goggins to be a guy that loses his shit. Like, make Goggins just an absolute fucking madman.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the best thing to do. That way, that explains him just being a complete fucking loose cannon for shooting people. Like, he lost his damn mind. Like, I think that would have been the approach to take.
And see, there were things in the video games where, like, they would stumble across... I don't want to say this wrong because then people call me a dumbass because I don't properly remember, but I think there was, this gas that would make you crazy and shit, make you see stuff, And they could have totally explored that aspect of the game and everything in the movie where Goggins was exposed to this shit, so now he's losing his mind, he's fucking shooting people, he can't get off the island because Trinity won't take him off the island because he hasn't found the tomb. They could have done all sorts of crazy stuff. Or when they opened up the tomb, they could have gone in there and lost their shit with the gas, and there could have been all sorts of craziness that could have happened, but they didn't do anything like that, which is fine. But it could have been so much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. That's kind of where I was a little disappointed because he's a guy that's sent there to do his job, and I was like, okay, if he's been there for a month and he's kind of tired of it, I can kind of get his personality. But if dude's been there for years, like without his family, like he should be just completely fucking batshit. And like, if you're gonna cast Walt Goggins, let him do his thing. Like, let him be that guy. I just kind of felt like that was it felt
missed opportunities,
incongruous with it felt incongruous kind of with what they were trying to go for with that particular character. So yeah, I think it seems like we kind of agree on that. I say we can kind of wind down here. So the twist, by the end of the movie, is that the Himiko, I guess the queen, the Papa Croft thinks that, she's cursed. She's got this ability, this supernatural ability to kill people. And, Walt Goggins is just like, nah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Turns out it's a bit of both, I guess, where she's got this, this disease that, upon contact, she can just immediately kill people, and she's a carrier, so she's not infected by it herself. I thought that was kind of it was good. I thought it was a good kind of twist in the sense that you didn't really know which way it was going to go, because Tomb Raider as a franchise has been pretty much supernatural from the get-go.
Yeah.
So it actually feels a little bit against type with kind of how the franchise has gone historically.
But that dude did turn into a zombie, though.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, kind of. But it was still explained as he's just...
scientific abnormality.
He's just disease-ridden, right. And then, his mind's been corrupted, I guess, at that point. But the thing about it is it's just straight up Uncharted 1, which did literally almost the exact same thing, where I was just like, okay, are they making are they slyly making an Uncharted 1 adaptation here too? I thought it worked. It did work for me, honestly. I thought that it was a good kind of way to kind of subvert expectations a bit. I don't know. I guess maybe if you come into this movie as someone not familiar with kind of those aspects of Tomb Raider, if it goes just straight up supernatural at the end, does that totally throw you for a loop? I don't know. How would you have felt if it was just like, oh no, it's just straight up magic, or whatever the case may be? Would that have landed it as well for you?
It probably would have landed better with me, I think.
Landed better, okay.
Yeah, I would have like at the end of the first game, you fight like a zombie queen boss thing going on there, and there's all sorts of bone people and shit, and it just kind of goes absolutely ape shit. It's cool. And it wasn't there. I was expecting that, but then when like the queen pops up with the little gear thing in her tomb, it's like, oh, they're definitely going in a different direction here, which, like I said, is fine. It is what it is. If you want to separate yourself from, the video game tropes, that's, it is what it is. Take your own liberties with it. It's a different iteration of the story, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But I would have enjoyed more exploration, or even just more like psychological shit. I was expecting that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty lean movie, I'd say overall.
Yeah, it is. It's very much action with a little bit of puzzle shit going on, and then that's it. So even like something like National Treasure had a lot more puzzle aspects and stuff. Like I don't know, it's not really a puzzle aspect. It's more of how would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, scavenger hunt kind of feel to it.
Yeah, and that like
following the clues.
Yeah, that's cool, right? There was a little bit of that, but there wasn't a whole lot of it, and it was very much an action movie.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward in terms of its momentum. I mean, it's not like, oh, we need to follow the map to this point. Oh, okay, now there's a clue here. We need to follow that clue to this. And, it's pretty much, we just need to find the spot to get into the tomb. We need to get into the tomb. We need to solve the puzzles. We're done. It's pretty straightforward, I think, in terms of its general structure and general momentum of kind of getting to where it wants to get to. So, that's kind of, I mean, I don't know if this is exactly what you're talking about, but I kind of felt like if you had a little bit more of that, if you had Lara being a little bit more adventurous, a little bit more kind of, trying to intuit a lot more things, I felt like that would have been a good way to do it, because, it just didn't feel like, for a movie called Tomb Raider, she doesn't feel like a Tomb Raider to me, where I understand that they're trying to build to that, but it didn't seem like there was an inherent kind of ability within her to kind of being like, this is how to do it, other than she just knew how to solve the puzzles, which, again, I guess that's part of it, but I just kind of felt like there should have been natural kind of progression of solving a mystery instead of, I don't know. I mean, it's just not the story I guess they were trying to tell. I mean, she ends up on the island and she wants to get the fuck out of Dodge as soon as she ends up there. It's kind of the bottom line. But I
think the best way to put this movie is, it's not a terrible movie, but there's a lot of missed opportunities, especially if you have any sort of reference point for the original source material. You know what I mean? There's it's okay, it's fine, but. Like, for example, I don't have any qualms with recommending this movie to my dad. I think my dad would love it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But as somebody who has some sort of grasp on the source material, I think there's a lot of missed opportunities there. And then as somebody who, or like you have a lot of, you've seen Goggins and a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? You say there's missed opportunities there with the cast as well. So I think this movie is largely a missed opportunity on the source material and the cast and everything that it has in it. But what it did take away from everything, I think it was okay. It was fine.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. It's a fun movie,
right? But
it is one that the pieces were there to make it better. It had every opportunity to kind of be better than it ended up being. I think that's kind of more or less what you're kind of talking about.
Exactly.
So, if they made a sequel, and boy, this movie feels very confident that it's getting one. Would you go see a sequel then?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of where I landed. I was a little bit less thrilled within the movie of how sequel baity it got towards the end, because I'm just like, no, this movie's not going to make that much money, guys. Don't do this. Don't stop. No, stop. No. The whole idea of Trinity, this big worldwide global organization, sticking their toes and everything or whatever, and oh no, it's it's the lady in charge of her companies, or whatever. That whole thing was just like, look, if you want to go that route, just do it in a sequel. Don't set up that hook in this one. I mean, I was okay with them doing the I'll take two, the very end, the bit with Nick Frost, even though they put that in the trailer when it was very obvious that was going to be the last scene in the movie because her hair was different from everything else in the trailer. that's a little frustrating to me, is that they decided to use that in the trailer as here's literally the last scene in their movie. Technically, sort of a post-credit scene in their movie. Not really, but it's I guess the post-title card scene. So I was a little bit frustrated about that, but I thought it was a cute reference to maybe the OG Lara, where she's got her dual pistols, even though she doesn't use guns in this movie ever. It's a little bit of a leap, I guess, but maybe it's been a few months and she's been working up on her. She's been going to the gun range a few times, maybe.
Oh yeah.
But I thought that was a fun scene as kind of a wink and a nod to her past and possibly to a future. But I felt like everything else was just like straight up sequel bait of, if you're that confident, more power to you, but I just don't think that it's going to happen. But if it did happen, I would see it. So I guess if it does get a sequel and they do, kind of resolve that whole storyline, maybe it'll feel better as kind of part 1 of 2, but I'm just like, don't do that. I hate when movies do that. When, it's one thing when, you're making a Black Panther movie and you've got some post-credit sequences because your movie's part of it. It's effectively a cog in the machine. We know we're going to get more. We know Black Panther is going to show up in Avengers, so having content in there that justifies a sequel of there's going to be more to come. Totally cool. Here, and your movie is losing to Black Panther in its 5th weekend. Little less cool, but it's my personal take on it. So, that's where I'm on. That's where I am with Tomb Raider. I enjoyed it. That's the bottom line, is I enjoyed it, and it was a nice break from the rut that we'd kind of been in for the past few weeks.
Yes.
So yeah. Any parting words? You ready to get on with the show?
I want to hear what you've been up to, man.
I have completed Luther. I have watched all of Luther, at least all of that has been presently released of Luther.
Very nice.
Series 5 is filming, if you were not already aware. So I'm looking forward to Season 5 when it inevitably releases, possibly later this year, maybe next year, whatever the case may be. But Luther, good show, really good show. It's a nice pulpy detective show. I think my biggest issue with Luther, and it's tough because it's hard to kind of balance things, is that Luther is best when Ruth Wilson is also present as what's her character's name? Fucking Alice Morgan, is that it?
Alice Morgan's fucking incredible, dude.
Whenever Alice Morgan is on the screen, like her and and Luther, Idris Elba, they're such a great duo, they're such a great pairing on screen that I absolutely adore the show whenever they're together. But kind of due to the nature of her character, they kind of have to write most of the show without her, and I'm like, this is good. It's enjoyable. I like a lot of the characters here, but it's best when she's there, and it's just they have to kind of justify why she's not there, why she is there, and stuff like that. And then Series 4, you get to Series 4, and it's just like the whole hook of it is that she's quote unquote dead, and it's just kind of like, well, that kind of takes a lot of the you take one of the best aspects out of the show, and it kind of makes it a little bit less interesting, I think. But I did enjoy it on the whole. Idris Elba is characteristically awesome. Incredible. And certainly some of the cases are more interesting than the others. I think the season, maybe the second, or the episodes 3 and 4 of Series 2.
Which one was that?
They have the twins that have the game that they're playing against each other.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's an interesting setup. But I enjoyed it. I'm excited. I'm obviously I watched all 4 series, which, to be fair, it's got that nice BBC style of Series 4 is literally 2 episodes, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like that a lot.
I will gladly watch the next iteration when it does come out. So that's really
Good
the only thing I've been up to. Obviously, that came highly recommended by you, and I know that I had mentioned that I'd watched the first series a few months back. So I kind of felt like, all right, there's not that many episodes. I can do this. I can watch this and get through it. And so good on you for recommending good shit. So what have you been up to?
Well, I've been trying to watch Jessica Jones. I've gotten a good ways through that. Should be finishing it up here shortly. I also watched the second Hunger Games movie.
Oh, Catching Fire. All right, I'm curious. Did you feel that there was an uptick in quality?
Yeah, it was an uptick in quality. It was okay. I feel like they're both. I don't know. I feel like all these movies kind of have similar. They all feel the same. You know, I don't know what it is about them.
Well, certainly the first two. I mean, the premise is kind of identical. I mean, like Catching Fire is like an All-Stars version of it, right? Isn't that kind of the whole premise of it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's very samey in terms of the setup of it. I think Mockingjay is kind of when they break of that a little bit more, and it's more about the revolution, you know, and all that good stuff. But I thought Catching Fire was a better version of the first movie, at least when I saw it back. I haven't seen it since it came out, so
no, I would agree with that. There's more.
Reference.
There's a lot more character development and stuff. I think it was fun.
It's got Peeta Mellark in it and Hamish Abernathy. I think
it's got the Westworld dude in it.
I don't know who that is.
The Westworld dude, the black guy.
Jeffrey Wright.
Is that his name?
Who did he play in Westworld? He was the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He plays.
I'm sure he's in there somewhere.
He plays the same guy, pretty much.
Okay.
Real smart dude with glasses.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, he's got a type.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's all right. You know, I enjoyed it. It's also got fucking god damn it, what's his name? Dude committed suicide. What the fuck? Peter Hoffman. No, not Hoffman. Seymour Hoffman?
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's got him in it.
I think he OD'd, right? I don't know if it was.
Well, maybe it was not intentional suicide.
Yeah, I don't know that it was intentional, but I could be wrong on that.
I'm not sure, but either way, it's got him in it. He was cool. You know, he was himself in it, which is cool. It was all right. I also watched Dragon Ball Super, which
came back this week, huh?
It did come back this week. I was happy, right? Because I was really frustrated last week. I don't know if I expressed my frustrations about that. But
You did.
Yeah. So it came back, and I was expecting, okay, they take a week hiatus. They're going to come back, and they're going to knock out the series, right? It's going to be done. Well, that was not the fucking case. Goku kicks ass, and they have this big fight, and Goku's about to finish the dude. All of a sudden, Goku says, oh, I'm all of a sudden fatigued. And so the other guy steps up, and he's going to kill Goku. But then just as he goes to kill Goku, two people, Frieza and Android 17, show up, and they're saying, Goku, we're going to save you. And they save Goku, and they just perpetuate it even longer.
So the series is not done yet?
It's not done yet.
All right.
Which is fine. Goku kicked some serious ass. The animation was awesome. It was really cool. But yeah, so it perpetuates. It's gonna keep going on, which is fine. I'll watch it as long as it's on. So that's that.
Good deal.
But in traditional Dragon Ball fashion, it does not end. And has there been anything else I'm up to? I downloaded the second Tomb Raider game. I intend to play that.
Yeah.
After I finish, after we get onto a non-TV show schedule here, and I can just catch movies once a week, I'll probably start it. And I think that's pretty much it. I haven't been up to a whole lot.
Right on. Yeah, I know. Speaking of that, I'm actually kind of tempted to go back in on the first Tomb Raider. I know you enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm kind of feeling the itch a little bit. So I don't know if I will, kind of immediately. But yeah, I might give it a shake. I know I think I have that and Rise on Steam. So maybe. Who's to say?
If not, I do.
I know I have at least the first one, but I'm pretty sure I bought the second one for pretty cheap at some point. So. We can call it there for this episode then. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Watch, Review, Repeat. If you enjoyed what you heard, spread the word. Boom, that rhymed.
Nice. I like it.
I think it's a new catchphrase. I'm gonna write that and add that to our episode script. And I'm gonna say it every time from now on. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
You heard it here first.
You might have actually heard that one here first. Someone's probably uttered it somewhere in history, but Fuck it. We're trademarking it, and it's ours now. As we mentioned, or I guess as I mentioned at the top of the episode, you can listen to our new Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2 episode on our Patreon exclusively. So again, head to patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat, or alternatively, you can check out the premium section on our website. So you can head to our website at watchreviewrepeat.com, just click the premium tab, that'll get you where you need to go, and it'll give you all the information about Patreon, what that episode entails, and kind of, get on it, really, because especially if if you've listened to and enjoyed that Phase 1 episode that we just put out, that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting with the Patreon. You're getting that, you're getting timed exclusive access to that. So if you want to be the first to hear it and you want to do it in a way that helps us out, helps us cover our costs, then please do it. I mean, the idea is that it helps everyone. It's not meant to be exclusively for us. So, get on that if that's something that intrigues you. Other than that, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at WRRPod. Send any questions, comments, and suggestions our way to our Gmail account at watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. Our intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. And last but not least, we will, for real this time, we will be covering Marvel's Jessica Jones Season 2 for our next podcast episode. So certainly look forward to that. I think, Andrew, you're a little bit further than I am, and I've got a few episodes to push through over these next few days before we end up recording that episode. But I've liked what I've seen so far. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it's going to be a good episode. So look forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Until next time.
Until next time, guys. We'll catch you
on the flip side.
We'll catch you on the flip side. Laters on the menge. Adios.
Adios.